Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the one, the only Rumboyz Fantasy Network. And today we are doing something a little bit different. We told you guys that this was going to be coming. After all, it is our very first beginning of rookie spotlight, rookie breakdown, whatever you want to call it. We're diving into pretty much what the consensus is for the 101 overall pick, Joe Burrow. And I am joined by our by my colleague, Jordan Love, our resident, pretty much Todd McShay. What is good, J Love?
What's good, bro? Happy to get back into this series from last year, and let's just get it started, man. This is my forte, so let's go.
Fuck yeah. Let's definitely dive into it. First, make sure that you guys do like, comment, and subscribe. How you Connor Burke in the chat saying Chase Young is better? How are we comparing a defensive player to
Okay, I'm just gonna come out and say it. I made a big board this past weekend after the combine. Joe Burrow is not in my top 3. He's not. In saying that though, I put this in my article. Quarterbacks are usually never inside of my top 5 to even top 10 on my big boards. It's very rare. It's very uncommon. Just because of the positional value for a quarterback, they are pushed up higher in an actual draft. When you're creating a big board, you're not looking at positional value. You're literally just looking at, okay, is this player better than the next player?
I'm not comparing the.
I'm just saying Chase Young is my number 1 player in this draft.
I completely understand. And I understand where you're coming from, but that's not what we're here for. What we are here for, though, is, of course, Mr. Joe Burrow, pictured behind me. Yeah, I can roll this way. Yep, I can roll this way. And we will we have his measurements here, but you also have his measurements on Rumboyz.com. And I want to get into that. Get into your article a little bit here, Jordan Love, that you did damn good on. Well, you kind of start off, get the people into what we got popping off here. 6'3", 221.
Yeah.
2019, Joe Burrow had the most dominant season of any college player that you stated that you've ever seen. He posted 5,671 passing yards, a total of 60 touchdowns, and only 6 interceptions. Simply dominant is the only way to describe this past year from Burrow that you had wrote.
I don't think there's any way to deny that.
Absolutely. Let's get into some of the pros that you wrote down. What are some of the pros that you felt that you truly saw in it?
I mean, this past year you saw that he has a poise in the pocket. It's not very common that you see a quarterback coming into the league having the ability to climb the pocket, knowing how to escape, knowing how to even just maneuver in the backfield above even most starting quarterbacks. When he comes into the league, I already think he's going to be one of the best quarterbacks in doing this just in the backfield alone. Not so more just running for his life, but just knowing how to operate and keeping his head up. His touch on the ball, exceptional. You're going to see it in these highlights that we show. He just knows how to loft the ball, put it in the spot, and having a good enough accuracy to put it wherever he wants. He plays off safeties. We know that a lot of these younger quarterbacks struggle with that when they come into the league. They stare down their number 1 receiver. They go through their reads really slow in safeties. That's their bread and butter, taking care of these bad quarterbacks, essentially, or young quarterbacks. And Joe Burrow shows ability to be above that. Other than that, he just does everything just at a higher level than what you usually see. Again, great placement, great touch. He goes through his progressions amazingly. Great anticipation. He knows where his receivers are going to be. He has shown that he creates a great connection with his players on his team. Everybody that talks about Burrow, they talk about how he's a great leader. He's a great friend. Everybody always looks up to him because he knows what to do, and because of that connection off the field, which are some people have questions about his personality. I mean, it's just shown that he takes that personality that can come off as abrasive, and he uses that to be a leader.
Absolutely, absolutely. One of the things in terms of pros that I actually enjoyed seeing in Joe Burrow was actually in the last outing that we saw him in the national championship when Joe Burrow had seemed to have maybe dealt with some sort of pain. He was like, you know what? No, don't worry, I'm good. And he had enough ambition to go out there, enough strength to go back out there and still be able to play for his team in the biggest moment on the biggest stage. So that I like about the kid. He has that toughness, and that's something that you're really gonna need when you're possibly gonna be playing for a team like the Cincinnati Bengals. You actually had pictured there in that you did. Let's get into some of the cons that you had put down, Jordan.
Yeah, and I'm actually going to kind of disagree with you in saying that was kind of a pro of his in that championship game. If you go to that first half, essentially pretty much just the whole first half in a nutshell, he had a really hard time understanding this Clemson defense, which makes sense. Everybody did throughout the whole year. But once he started to catch on after those halftime adjustments, after he did get hurt and he started to really lock in, that's when we saw it come out. But that first half was kind of scary. I could kind of tell some of the looks that the defense was bringing. You could tell that they're faking this one edge rusher just to bring another two on the right. And they were just disguising a lot of their blitzes. But again, that's coming from my perspective watching on a TV instead of being in that moment, which I can understand. Other than that, there's a lot of his cons that I put here are really nitpicky. On my article, I know I'm probably going to catch some flack for this, but his arm strength and his release are not exceptionally fast like we saw from Kyler Murray last year, but they are not bad. They are above average, and I put it in a con just because everything else he does is exceptional. He does tend, because he knows he can put the ball anywhere he wants, he tries to fit it in too many spots, and I would say that probably leveraged for about half of his interceptions last year. Even though again it's only 6, but he tries to put these. He just tries to do too much at times. And the main reason I caught on to his arm strength being an issue, and the only reason I necessarily put the arm strength there, is because whenever he throws a quick out or like a 10-yard out, that arm strength shows. The ball's kind of lackluster. It's slow. He's kind of sluggish in a sense whenever he throws an out route. And sometimes they're even off point. It seems like he just needs to get that timing down with those quicker throws a little bit better. He kind of, again, we know that he's very evasive and he does things better. I've already said that. But he kind of took a few too many sacks. Instead of throwing the ball away, he tried to do that greatness. So I think he's trying to play a little bit too much hero ball at times. And then, of course, he played at LSU. They were dominant, had one of the best receiving corps we've ever seen in Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, namely. They played great for him. Thaddeus Moss declared this year. So the scheme and the team around him may have helped him. It's the opposite of what we saw from Daniel Jones. But bringing this up also is going to bring people also bring up.
Even in some of the clips that we're going to take a look at here today, we're going to notice, and there'll be a couple of moments where I'll point out where it's like, I'm not exactly a fan of that throw. That one, may have been a little bit sloppy there. We'll see some of that to where not every single pass that Joe Burrow made
is perfect. It's not.
Exactly. And we'll show a couple of those. There were some that I noticed he forced across the middle that were a little soft. In the NFL, they're going to be those are going to be passes that are going to be picked off. But we'll get into that when we get into the film.
Yeah, that was another con of mine I had is he doesn't do great at throwing a ball at a point. He puts it in a general area. A lot of his balls, as you can tell, are very high. Not very high. They're just a little high or a little low. He struggled against lengthy corners, like a guy who ran awfully at the combine and had a very bad day during the athletic drills, Cameron Dantzler from Mississippi State. Cameron Dantzler only allowed 2 catches for 14 yards against LSU. That's a 6'3", 204-pound corner who ate them alive. C.J. Henderson played great against LSU. That's a 6'2", 205-pound corner. Ate them alive. It's just what happens. He struggles against those lengthy corners that put their hands on those balls that he kind of just messes up a little bit. And other than that, it's going to be the one thing that everybody brings up. It's the 1 year of clear greatness that we saw. But I mean, he showed signs before that. He had the intangibles, but he just put it all together this year, in my opinion.
And then when we talk about the grading that you provided for Mr. Burrow, Joe Burrow is a lock to go at the number 1 in this draft. There is no doubting that. However, on my big board, Burrow is sitting clearly at number 4. He is behind 3 defensive players. He is a great quarterback prospect, as most QB prospects are, never inside a top 10 of a scout's big board. However, Burrow has broken the mold. He fits exactly what a team wants as a semi-mobile quarterback with ideal height and the ability and arm talent to make any throw the team needs.
Let me fix that.
And so let me fix. He's gonna go in and fix it right now while in the middle of doing his show. Let's talk about that for a minute. In terms of the grade. So I mean, you're pretty much saying, irregardless. Let's go ahead and talk about this now. Okay, I was gonna
go ahead, bring it up.
The show. We'll talk about it now. So pretty much what I'm gathering from that statement is, even if Tua Tagovailoa was fully healthy, I mean, now we know that he's cleared health-wise. Are you saying that irregardless of that man's health, Joe Burrow is still the 101 no matter what, even with having the one solid year, the one clear year of greatness that you are also written about?
Yeah, I'm still taking Joe Burrow. I have questions about Tua's game that I feel are less. Joe Burrow is a more surefire prospect than Tua is. And I know that's going to sound weird because we only saw 1 year, but I think just the way Joe Burrow plays the game, he's a safer pick than Tua is. Tua has the injury risk. Tua has really questions about his arm strength, even more so than Joe Burrow. His release is a little wonky, even though he is a lefty, and their throw motions are still a little bit weirder, but his is exceptionally wonky in my opinion. There's just little things I feel more comfortable about with Burrow than I do with Tua. And I'm taking Burrow because of that security, because if I'm taking the number 1 overall player, especially a quarterback, I want my franchise guy, and my franchise guy cannot be hurt.
Absolutely. I mean, we've already seen a quarterback with high talent, but was a little bit on the injury-prone side whenever we talk about Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz, that's a great point. In my opinion, Carson Wentz is a top 10 quarterback in this league, and I get flack for that because he gets hurt. He's never there in the biggest moments. I just want to bring this up. Carson Wentz this past year did not have a wide receiver,
right?
A team's main pass catcher, have over 500 yards receiving. And yet he still was the first quarterback in Eagles history to have over 4,000 yards passing. He's a franchise quarterback, and that's a really good comparison for Tua, actually.
Yeah, for Tua.
Great
Yeah.
quarterbacks, but they're never healthy.
So in this case, Burrow the clear 101, and I have to agree with that. I'm very known of being a proponent of whatever you can do, whatever you've done for me lately. I'm a big proponent of if you could be healthy and consistently healthy. Joe Burrow, a guy that has that track record of being consistently healthy. I like Burrow over Tua as well to kind of just solve that question there. Just want to entertain the talks a little bit there.
I mean, no, it makes sense though. I will bring this up. There still is a lot of the team interviews going around, and I know Burrow crushed the interview at the combine for the Bengals. It's been reported, but if Burrow does not perform as well this time in the interview process, and Tua does, expect the Bengals to trade out. And I know they haven't really entertained this because it's the Bengals and they don't make trades. They're historic. They're one of the least, they make the least transactions in the league when it comes to trades since the 1980s, since their new management came in. But if they felt like they can get Tua, why wouldn't they move back?
True.
Like the Bengal, if you're going to sit up here and tell me that
that's a very Bengals-esque thing that the Bengals would do. I could see that.
Tell me if you're if you're the Dolphins, would you do this? You give up the 5th pick, their 3rd pick of the draft, not the one sitting around 20, the one sitting around 26, I believe it is. You give up that pick, you give up a 2nd this year, and you give up a 2nd next year. And you, instead of getting an injury risk Tua, or even having the possibility of trading up to 3 and still getting that move, giving up a little bit less, but still having to make that move, instead you move up to 1. And just giving that up, instead of getting Tua an injury risk, you get Joe Burrow.
That could be a thing for Miami. That's a big what if and a lot of fucking moving pieces.
That would be the value to move from 5 to 1. Though. And instead of a 2nd next year, it could be a 1. To be honest,
that would be absolutely positively insane. Burrow to Miami, that would be that's a hot take right there. That's a hot take.
I'm just saying that is if Burrow nuts this interview, and Tua is just like, yeah, I'm that guy.
Which I 100% don't foresee. This draft, I don't see there being a bizarro situation where, similar to last year, where all of a sudden Daniel Jones is now the guy that is makes a massive leap.
And to go back the year before that, Mayfield made that massive leap.
Yeah, you're correct. You are correct.
Going into the combine, Mayfield was projected to go anywhere from 20 to 30. Then after the combine, he was like, okay, 10 to 20. And then 2 days before the draft, we're like, oh, he's going number 1.
Yeah, and then Lamar had fucking drastically fell. No, I remember. I don't see there being a whole lot of movement outside of the projected consistency. Another thing that we were talking about is the fit, and you had that hot take with Miami. Usually there will be there will be good fits and bad fits section of these breakdowns. However, in this case, and then the next, I'm supposing you meant 3. There is only one possible landing spot for this player, okay, and that is the Cincinnati Bengals. So despite your hot take, you still stand by, like you mentioned in the article, the Cincinnati Bengals being the clear front runner.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't, like I said, I brought up the hypothetical. I don't see that happening. It's a massive hypothetical. Joe Burrow's going number 1. Like I've already said it multiple times. He's a lock. I don't see anything crazy happening. I think this draft, inside of the top 3, you're not going to see anything crazy happen. I would even go as far to say 4, but there's a chance that pick's traded out. The first 3 picks, I think, are a lock. I don't think they're going to change. I don't think they're going to defer. I think they're literally just going to stay the exact same. Right. That consensus that I'm referring to, by the way, is you're going to see Joe Burrow, Chase Young, and then you're either going to see Jeff Okudah or Isaiah Simmons at number 3. And in my personal opinion, you're looking at Jeff Okudah. I think those 3 picks are dead set, no doubt about it.
Okay, I like it. I gotta agree. With this particular episode, I mean, and this particular player profile breakdown, I don't think there's really even a need for us to entertain him to go anywhere else. To try and come up, with anything else on that. I mean, I know that you mentioned, Miami, and that's a big what if scenario, and that's purely what that is. Like thinking he's locked. You feel like the first 3 picks are locked. I feel that same way. Burrow, Cincinnati's not a place, not a team really focused on chasing headlines and being the huge talk of the league. So if it's pretty much looked like that they're going to go and get Burrow and get the hometown hero out of Athens, out of Ohio, then they should go ahead and they should do so. I like it. I want to see Burrow in those Tiger stripes. I want to see if he can turn that team around and make that organization relevant again.
I want to bring this up, talking about the Bengals. I think the Bengals are one of the most underrated teams when it comes to the utility that Joe Burrow will have when he goes there. You take Joe Burrow, you have a franchise quarterback. You cut Andy Dalton, you cut Drake Kirkpatrick, you move on from Cordy Glenn. You're looking at about $65 million roughly in cap space. That's a lot of money. You have your weapons. You have AJ Green. You have John Ross, who blazed last year. You have Auden Tate, and then you have Tyler Boyd. That's a good set of 4 wide receivers. You just drafted a tight end last year in Drew Sample, who has some potential. And you have CJ Uzuma, who, when he's in the game, has been a big-time playmaker. You have Joe Mixon, who I'm a huge proponent for. I'm just bringing him up because it's a Bengals type thing. If you take Burrow, you improve this offensive line, your offense is set for the next 3 to 4 years.
Yeah.
Not just saying Burrow's only lasts for 3 to 4 years. I'm saying your weapons are going to last for 3 to 4 years. And then you can focus on that defense that needs help after that. If you can shut down this offense and then focus on that defense, I truthfully think the Bengals can compete in 3 years for an AFC title.
Yeah, let's look at their division.
Their division is stacked. Don't get it wrong. They have the Browns underperformed, but they got the new coaching staff. The Ravens, who everybody's going to keep bringing up. I don't see Lamar Jackson repeating what he did last year. It was just too good. But he's still going to be that top guy. But the Ravens are in an interesting situation with their defense, and the matter of fact that their defense is getting older. They have certain pieces that are good, but they're aging. Their offensive line is aging, and they still need help at wideout. So they have a couple core pieces, but they're just getting older. The Steelers are falling apart in front of our eyes, and they need a quarterback. And the Browns, I still have major coaching issues with them because I need to see it before I believe it, similar to what I thought with the Packers last year. And that division, in my opinion, if you go ahead in 3 years, I think the Browns self-destruct. I think the Steelers self-destruct.
Yeah.
And then you're just looking at the Ravens, and that's whether or not they hold on. Look at that.
Take. Very, 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 very bold take. Luckily, we're going to be working around each other for years to come to see if that'll even go into fruition. I definitely think that is the Ravens division for the next 4 or 5 years.
I'm not saying they win it. I'm saying they can compete for it.
We'll see. A lot of expectations that you're putting on young man Burrow here early on in his career. Let's see here. Want to get into some highlights here. I mean, so all in all, we agree he's the 101 overall. Everyone out there knew this one. This one was going to be an easy one for us. This episode was pretty much going to be a breeze. But let's get into some film breakdowns. I want to point out a couple of things here in regards to Mr. Burrow and some of his quarterback play. This video here The creator of this one is a guy by the name of Wheels. Will's hooking us up with some fun. Shout out to him. So there's one particular pass that I really want to point out here in just a moment. And Burrow, the timing, the way that he splits the wide out DB and the nickel DB right here, and he just places it right into the breadbasket of Moss. The timing of that throw, I want to bring that one back a little bit. The timing of that throw, to be able to survey the defense and slow them down with your eyes, and then just flick that up there. Like I said, this is going to go right into the breadbasket of Thaddeus Moss there, young Randy. What are you thinking about some of these throws by Burrow? Jordan Love. Yeah, Jordan's still with us.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, I said, what are you thinking of some of these throws that Burrow is making?
I mean, again, it just shows that he has great touch, good anticipation. Again, you see him climbing the pocket there, just making that good step up. But you still have to look at some of these catches like that catch right there by Justin Jefferson. That's a great catch. While it's a routine catch at the NFL, it's still a good catch that sometimes might not be made. That's just a great throw.
I like that. I like that one there. Putting it right in front of the receiver. Put it right there where only his guy can get it. Hitting him right there in the middle of his six. I like that throw there. This one here, a little bit sloppy. I know that his hand was hit as he was going forward. Good throw nonetheless.
Again, but you have to realize that he was almost sacked in that play.
Exactly. I would have preferred at the NFL level, he's going to be taken down in that moment. I understand wanting to maybe progress to the next level and force it in. I don't think that at the next level he should be making a throw that risky.
Again, here we go again with me like nitpicking. It's like a 50-yard gain, but that ball's a little low.
Absolutely. Here's him on the quarterback keep. That one's just beautiful. That's just great blocking there.
Yeah, athleticism.
Joe is the best in the draft at putting it in the best spot for the catch and throwing receivers open.
I'm not going to say he's the best at putting it in the spot, but he does throw his receivers open the best. I'll give you that.
Absolutely, definitely throws his guys open. Like I said, I mean earlier in this clip, put it where only his guys can get it. I mean that time his receiver just has perfect separation. It's just a matter of a foot race at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Now that one there,
a little high, a little outside.
A little high, a little outside.
Inside, I mean inside. That was too far inside for his receiver. Ugh.
This one, another one, just a foot race at this point. Hits the receiver in stride as the slant route is developing. Yeah. Great work there.
Also to mention, Justin Jefferson's going to be a first-round receiver. Jamar Chase is going to be a first-round receiver. And Terrace Marshall's probably going to be a second or third-round pick next year as well. So he has the weapons. That's a great throw and catch.
Yeah, I like how Chase he kind of knew to just slow it down there. Come back to that one. Beautiful
timing. Yeah, just great timing.
That one all about the timing there. Let's get into our to our next clip.
At the end of these highlights, I'm gonna say my player comp. I'm not too big on player comps, and I did not put it in this article for a reason because I want to see a reaction when I say it.
No worries. No worries. No, we'll actually wrap it with the player comp. So this one by Just More Bombs on YouTube, or Just Bombs Productions. Taking a look at more work here by Burrow, and that one just put up beautifully. Beautiful over the shoulder catch there by the receiver. Maybe lead him a little bit more. I know maybe you're worried about running out of room there, but you can hit him in the back of the end zone there.
DB got turned around. Good way to keep his head upfield.
Mm-hmm. The DB completely bit on the route.
Mm-hmm.
Not even a full 3-strike drop there. That was more of a 1-2, and then he just knew, okay, I'm gonna play and just let's launch this baby.
Texas had a really successful day at getting him in some bad spots in that game.
I love this play right here. Joe Burrow extending the play with his legs here against Georgia. I absolutely believe in the NFL, you're going to need to do that. You're going to need to pull off a lot of Houdini bullshit like that. Of just staying upright, rolling out the pocket, making a throw, making a play.
But again, in the NFL, that's a sack. I'm just going to say.
But at the same time, you are going to have the ability to extend plays and get your guys open and use your legs to get guys open.
Perfect throw.
Like in your article, semi-mobile.
Mm-hmm. He is. I wouldn't call him a mobile quarterback, but he does have sneaky athleticism.
Here's another one rolling out to his left. A little sloppy, a little low there.
I mean, in that case, I think he wanted to put that a little bit lower because, again, yeah, he had the separation. He probably could have put that a little bit higher, but I think he meant to put that ball a little bit lower for his receiver to get it.
Just beautiful. Just knowing the playbook, knowing the design.
I don't know if you saw, but there was an article I saw today on a website, and it said Joe Burrow is a top, I think he was now the number 6 quarterback in the past decade. So they ranked all the quarterbacks with their quarterback rankings and put them up against one another, and Joe Burrow was 6 on that list.
That's beautiful. That's insane.
You know who was number 1?
Who?
In the past decade, so the 2010s to now. And he would probably be my number 1 as well. However, I did not want this guy to go number 1.
It wouldn't be Mahomes. Would it be Mahomes?
It's not Mahomes. It's Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray? Wow.
Kyler Murray had the highest quarterback ranking, and I did not want him to go to my Cardinals. And I agree that he is literally one of the greatest quarterback prospects I've seen.
Over 2 defenders. Beautiful pass by Burrow.
That's that touch.
He just knows that no one's catching this but my guy.
And again, his connection with Justin Jefferson is completely insane.
So look at how much time. Just amazing Burrow had. He had a great offensive line in college. He's not going to have that in Cincinnati.
No, he will not.
A lot of movement there. A lot of movement in the pocket. That's a beautiful luxury to be able to have as a quarterback.
Again, we saw that highlight earlier.
Yeah, we saw that one earlier. So just wanted to kind of just showcase a couple of details of his skills. Some of the things that I pull away from the film that I really want to share with you guys is the timing of Joe Burrow from the moment that he has the ball in his hands to when to the average time of which a receiver has to have a route develop, especially that one that I pointed out at the very beginning between him and Moss. Having that ability to time balls perfect on time with routes. I like that. You can see why he's in the upper echelon of QBs. He's going to be the 101 overall pick in the draft. with these NFL receivers and the speed that they're coming out with, you're going to need to have a quarterback that can time things perfect. We went into last year a lot with a lot of different teams' playbooks, especially with the RPO style. A lot of plays and play calling are timing based schemes. And I think that Joe Burrow is going to be set up for that, especially with having a speedy receiver like Tyler Boyd up there in Cincinnati, and whoever else that Cincinnati may choose to go ahead and draft very well in this draft. One of the things that I didn't like, is, and that's something that he couldn't help in college, was that how much time that offensive line gave him for where he's going to be going to. He's not going to have that, even if you're on the elite of the elite teams in the NFL. You may, on a good play, once per game, be allotted about 5.5 seconds back there in the pocket. In the NFL, a good pocket is about 3 seconds.
Yeah. On average, he's going to have 2.5 to 3 seconds.
Exactly.
To pass the ball. And that's why I would bring up his release. His release may not cater to that too well. But again, he has that movement to be able to get outside of the pocket that we saw. Yeah. And he did not have a fumbling issue.
No, Joe Burrow did not have a fumbling issue. That was actually one of the things I saw that you mentioned, Wentz, Daniel Jones. That was actually one of the things that DJ had when he was at Duke, and did not clean up very well in the NFL.
No, he had 26 fumbles.
I don't think that he's going to clean it up heading into this year as well. I think that's just in his game. That's just who he is. Joe Burrow, I also enjoy the fact whenever we look at the stats and we go away from the film, only seeing 6 interceptions. That is a thing of beauty. I don't know how well that specific number is going to translate over into the NFL. You're going to take your lumps, kid. You're a rookie. This is a different level of a league. J Love.
I'm going to give my player comp.
Yeah, go ahead. We're wrapping. Yeah.
All right. Now, when I give this comp, the player I'm going to compare him to, a little bit more athletic, a little bit more mobile. They actually have very similar builds. That player is Andrew Luck. I'm going to compare Joe Burrow to Andrew Luck. Both love to get outside of the pocket. Both have great lateral movement. They know how to climb the pocket. Both had insane hype coming out of college. Both are going to be the number 1 overall picks in their drafts. Both had similar issues, I would say. Their mechanics, both not the fastest release. Andrew Luck did have a stronger arm. It was still not the strongest arm. They both had a little bit of an issue putting the ball right on the money, but they still got it in a great area. However, Joe Burrow did have a better supporting cast. He also had better numbers. I think they're going to compare very, very well, and I think Cincinnati would love having Andrew Luck. And Andrew Luck's biggest issue was that health, and Joe Burrow doesn't have that.
One thing I like the Andrew Luck comparison. I saw Aaron Rodgers on that rollout to the left there.
Yeah, no, I compared him earlier in the year to Aaron Rodgers, and I caught flack for that. And I'm not going to compare him to, in my opinion, the most talented quarterback ever. Aaron Rodgers, in my opinion, is the most talented. His arm talent, his ability to make throws off the run. While I see it in Joe Burrow, I don't like comparing players to all-time greats. There's not always going to be the next somebody. So I don't want to do that.
I get that. So then that means that you're not liking this Jordan Love, Mahomes bullshit.
No, I don't like it. While I understand it, I'm not going to compare him to Patrick Mahomes. I'm going to do a Jordan Love breakdown. I love Jordan Love. In my opinion, he has the best arm talent in this class, and that goes against Jacob Eason and Justin Herbert, who both have great, great, great arms.
Yep.
He has the best arm. He has the most potential. He has the highest ceiling, but in saying that, he has the lowest floor.
Okay. We're gonna get into Jordan Love throughout this series. Ground Zero. If you're new, man, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're gonna be covering more players throughout the whole draft that could potentially, or leading up to the draft, that could potentially be landing on your team. We're gonna be covering all 32 teams, all 100 some odd plus prospects. Well, I mean, as many as we can get to leading up to the draft. Yeah, dude, make sure you subscribe to the channel and check it out. It's gonna be dope. But yeah, we're gonna try and keep these player profiles nice and short for you guys so that you can always go back and rewatch them. Make sure that you guys share these player profiles on social media. We're gonna be having another one coming up as soon as we are able to. As soon as we're able to, and you know, we work with scheduling and stuff. We're gonna have another player coming to you guys. I'm excited.
I'm gonna ask this for the people that are here. Who do you guys want to see? I'm gonna leave it open. I know everybody's probably gonna say Chase Young. I don't feel the need to grade Chase Young. Chase Young is the #1 overall player. He's probably the best pass rusher you'll see in the past 5 years, comparable to Myles Garrett. It is what it is.
I definitely want to get Mekhi Becton done. I definitely want to do Okudah.
Okudah's a great one. Mekhi Becton's a great one. I'm going to be dropping in Andrew Thomas because he's still my #1 offensive tackle. I have an interesting offensive tackle ranking. Some people come at me for it. But I mean, you know what? I'm just gonna keep it quiet because I want to see what's coming. I'm not gonna be okay. Connor Burke, you're kind of reaching there. Akeem Davis gave there is like a 5th round player.
We'll do Isaiah Coulter out of Rhode Island. I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, I will definitely be doing Isaiah Simmons. Antoine Winfield's an interesting player. I'll give you that. I will be doing a Kyle Duggar and Denzel Mims. Those are 2 players that had great combines that are going to be shooting up boards, and Antoine Winfield had a good combine. I may start doing like double articles in a sense. So I might have 2 players in the same article of a breakdown because the most time consuming part of making an article is doing the tags, the categories, and doing all the marketing sort of things. Me making the article, in all honesty, it probably takes about an hour and a half to make one. But if I take away that, like the whole marketing side of it and doing all these categories, it probably takes me only 40 minutes. So I can bang them out. If I'm doing them double, it'll just speed up the process.
Be the same as last year. Just knock them out. Jimmo, the icon on Sportscaster, says he wants a Kmet breakdown.
Cole Kmet, tight end.
So we'll get a lot of these out. I know I definitely want to do Chase Claypool. Me personally, I want to. So yeah, we're gonna get as many of these players done. We'll probably do throw 2 players into one breakdown. But like I said, definitely always want to try and keep these short for you guys. Make sure you tune in for play-by-play tonight. I will be calling Nuggets versus Mavericks, since unfortunately a lot of you guys can't go and attend the game. Oh, poor coronavirus outbreak. This is bullshit. But make sure that you guys do share the content. Make sure you subscribe, share the Jared Stidham interview this morning. Just to kind of, clickbait, buy-in hype to like the Brady watch BS. And
did you see the report that we just got from Adam Schefter? The Bucks are going all in on Brady.
On Brady, yeah. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. That's gonna be something we'll bring up on the Rum Report. But shit, man. Other than that, we appreciate you guys for tuning in for this player breakdown. And yeah, I'll be back tonight for play-by-play, 8 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Make sure that you guys do follow me on all social media at Rumboyz, spelled with the ZNET, just like you see it below me. J Love, where can they find you? What all do you got coming up?
If anybody has any questions about the draft, they want to hit me up about anything, Rumboyz J Love on Twitter, DM me, add me. I always check my Twitter periodically, so I'll be on there. Just hit me up. Other than that, banging out these articles, got school. It is what it is.
Yeah. Make sure that you guys continue to wash your hands, stay in school, kids. no matter what anyone else tells you in this whole entire world. Other than that, I appreciate y'all. Cheers to me. Cheers to you, all the wrong boys and girls. What it do? Dilly, dilly. I'm out of here.